Welcome to another beautiful day in California, another beautiful day with opportunity and hope. I'll wait a few moments to see how many start to come in. Hopefully, we get a lively audience that's filled with questions or requests, and we can have a lively discussion about what it means to have a family intervention and what part in the process that plays and the significant importance of it. I've written down a few key things to go over you today. I think that it's important to understand that having family involved early and in the immediacy of a pre-intervention leading into the intervention is essential to the outcomes, and that someone walks through that entire process with them and with their loved ones so that there's a continuity and a connection that they know and are comfortable with, that's going to hold them accountable and also do it with love and compassion, understanding and teaching, because a lot of family members do not know what a healthy relationship is with an addict. And so today, hopefully, we'll have that conversation. I'll go maybe 5 or 10 minutes and see if we can get something going here. If not, I'll come back and try again tonight. One of the most important things we have to realize is that family plays an important role in the process. You can't run away from it. You can't distance yourself away from it. It always comes back home. It's like a boomerang. You can chase your loved one away. You can tell them they're not wanted, and next week they're back, or the problem's back. It doesn't go away by just simply wishing it away. Some of the most important things to know today are that this might be the last chance your loved one has. With so many people overdosing and dying from opioid related instances and other drugs and alcohol, my cat decided to crack the door because my wife didn't close it. Um, Hopefully there's no big noises. Oh God, come here, come here. You want to be a movie star? Oh wow. This is Bing Bong. Bing Bong, look and say hi. Bing Bong was a little cat under a car that was going to pass away, and she's got a little attitude of her own, and I adopted her. Welcome in. I have to go find. Let me go over here because over here I can see comments. Ooh, excuse me. Oh, there it is. Hey, good morning. Is AI? How are you, sir? I am blessed beyond measure. I'm just glad to have this opportunity to come and share some key things about families and loved ones, um, and what it means to not take action. As an addiction recovery specialist, as a counselor, as an interventionist, as a coach and mentor for many people and their families and loved ones, it's essential that you understand what's available and how to go about this process in the right way. So many people, when they find their loved one in a struggle with alcohol or substances, Google or ask a friend or whatever means, and they end up like basically call 1-800 treatment and trusting whoever's on the other side of that line without ever knowing who they are, what they represent. That's scary to me. I wouldn't call 1-800 heart surgeon and trust the person at the other end of the line and give them my insurance money and say, yeah, sure, I'll be sending my son there for heart surgery. That scares me. And as someone who's worked in the industry for many, many years, I've seen disasters happen. Disasters that you can't imagine because somebody sent their loved one to a less than reputable treatment center and the treatment experience was horrible. Their loved one left. They blamed their loved one because obviously the treatment center couldn't be wrong. And the next thing you know, a new dynamic is introduced, and the client is back into whatever they were doing, and even harder usually because they're angry and pissed off. The family's angry and pissed off, and there's no resolution when you go that path. With someone such as myself or another addiction recovery specialist, what happens is we sit down as a family at the beginning. We're talking about family interventions, Generally, when I get a call, I want to sit down with the core family. Let me see what we got going on. Give me a shout out. Alexander, dude, I'll give you a shout out, brother. I'm here. Hello. Man, I can't even see. I'm half blind. Crumption Dumpton. And so, as an addiction recovery specialist, I come into, amen, I go into the family. I pull them together. We discuss and get each person's perspective because generally, as an addict, not everybody in my family at any one point knows exactly what I'm doing. They all have their perceptions, and I duck and dodge. I'll manipulate mom, dad, grandma, grandpa. I'll give them all misleading information to get what I need to continue doing what I do or to make you or mom or dad feel like the bad person. When the whole time I'm in my ism and I'm struggling and I'm manipulative. And when I bring the family together in a beginning intervention with them, I call it a pre intervention. I sit with them and I talk about and want them to express their experience with this loved one that's going through the problem. And usually, about halfway through, everybody's sitting there with their mouth open because they can't believe what they're hearing. And by the end of that first session, everybody has a clear understanding of what's going on, the manipulations, how people are being played against one another, and I invite them to a different conversation. Because we're setting up an intervention, I invite them to a place of compassion and understanding. I invite them to a place of simplification. And basically, what I ask them to do is leave their reservations, leave their anger, hostility, resentments. They have to leave that out of this initial process. That's part of the hardest, probably the hardest part of the beginning of the work. Let me see who's in here. All right. And so, what happens in that place is they're like, well, but he did this or she did that. I understand. There will be a time for negotiating and navigating that space down the road. This is not it. This is a place where I want everybody in this meeting to talk about how, okay, let me see. AJ. Well, I appreciate that comment, AJ. The truth is, if we don't say something and they die, which happens many, many times I've been around, then what? What do we say? AJ, if I'm your friend and I see you using alcohol and substances in an inappropriate and destructive way, and I love you and I don't say anything, what's that say for me? Am I just conflict avoidant? I don't want the drama. You're less important than me avoiding drama? No, that's wrong. And really, there's a way to do it. Yeah, I mean, for me, coming together with the family, educating them on addiction, telling them it's not about resentments and that kind of stuff at the beginning. There'll be a time for that. But this hearing, this meeting, this intervention we're getting ready to do with your loved one has to be from a place of love and compassion. It has to be welcoming, it has to be directive, it has to be guided by someone such as myself or another addiction recovery specialist that's very versed in the intervention process. And what happens is we sit with that family, we educate them. I give them 4 questions. Something that, what this person means to you, a memory of this person, what it would mean to you if they got help and were restored, and what would you love to see in the future with them as part of the family again. That's an invitation. That's not an attack. And generally, when we go into an intervention with a client, they're typically on guard. They already have a bad self perception, self judgment, self wrath. They don't feel worthy. They don't feel loved. They don't feel wanted. They don't even love themselves anymore. They feel all of that. And here we go into an intervention, and they're already shocked that they're in intervention. I mean, if you've ever been in one, most of the time it's like, oh, I can't believe this is happening. No. But if they stick 30 minutes, usually you can get good progress. And generally, they don't hear the attacks. They hear the welcoming. They hear the care, the compassion, the memories, the things that they really miss, but they don't know how to get back to. And they're afraid of rejection and attack. And they don't hear that. They hear, we love you, we care about you, I remember this time, this is what I would really love for you, and I look forward to you doing this and being part of the family again. I've, out of the 10 that I've done in the last 2 years, two haven't went initially, but they went later on, and all 10 of them successfully accomplished and went through a treatment program. A couple have had bumps in the road, but for the most part, all of them are stable, and I'm attached to the families and to the individuals. And I continue to support them even this far down the road because I don't believe that you just, I do one part and I pass it to somebody else, and they do a part and they pass it to somebody else and they do a part, because that's scattered, that's broken up. There's no relationship in there. It's just this cold medical, like, assembly line. And someone such as myself, when I come in with the pre-intervention, the intervention, getting them to a treatment program, walking through that treatment program with their individual and their loved one for like once a week while they're in there, to work on a bigger plan for their life, to discuss issues that they struggle with and want to explore growing things in their life, and then pick them up at the back end, having worked with their case manager on an aftercare plan, and walk them into that and walk with them in that 3, 6, 9, 12 months out. What's the success rate I've seen? It is at least double, if not triple, what you normally get with just a cookie cutter going through it and passing them on to the next person. That's crazy. Maybe some of you have had that experience. I know that I see it all the time, and it's a big affront to me as a clinical person, as someone in addiction treatment. It's like you've had a therapist for a month. Really, I don't think you're going to get a lot of deep therapy in 4 sessions over the course of 30 days between your detox and your residential. Then you're passed off to another place, and you have a guy for maybe another 2, 3 months if you're lucky. And then what? Oh, congratulations! You've accomplished completed our program. We're going to give you a coin or a wristband, and we have an alumni program you can come to. And good luck. That sits not well. There has to be a continuity of care and somebody walking through this entire process with them that they can build trust and a relationship with, that will carry over into their life. And that's what an addiction recovery specialist is for a family and for their loved one. But going back to that intervention, going back to that pre-intervention, it's about bringing family together, educating them a little bit on addiction, what it is, what it isn't, support them in understanding that, build a rapport with them based around healing, compassion, and empathy for the intervention that's going to take place. Let them know that there will be a time down the road to deal with resentments, with anger, with pain, and all those things, but this isn't it. And we go into the intervention with an open heart and spirit, and the odds are in their favor for their loved one to get help. And when their loved one gets the appropriate help over a long period of time, the family feels better and heals as a complete unit. If that makes sense to you, that's what this is about. That's why I wanted to do this show today, because a lot of people just think I send my kid or whatever, and I just trust the system. Well, if you don't understand the system, what are you really doing? I mean, if you don't know how treatment works, from pre-intervention to aftercare, the whole plan, and with somebody that knows what they're doing. I've got 32 years clean. I've been doing this work for that whole time predominantly. I've been educated in schools. I've did trainings. I've worked individually. I've worked as a case manager, a program director, program coordinator. It's just, if you know, you know. And I want to help families have a better life. Let me see what was going on here. Well, okay, AJ. This is the this. I'll give you an example. I can't tell you how, without speaking to you outside of this forum and really having a conversation, which I'm more than would love to have. I did an intervention with a family up north. I'm not going to say where because I want to respect their anonymity. But the mother that we were doing the intervention on had some children, a husband, family, a mother, friends, and they were all desperately worried about her. And so what we did is we did 3 sessions on a pre-intervention. I met with them 3 times to set this up and get them in the right place. And we set it up that they were having a barbecue at a house, a family get together, friends, and they invited her. And so I'm there with them, and they have the whole living room set up, and everybody knows where they're going to sit. And I'm outside and I'm eating, relaxing, acting normal, which I normally do because I get along with people and I love this stuff. And as the night waned on, within over an hour, two or three people would drift away, and then two or three people would drift away. And pretty soon it was just her and I and one other person out there. Everybody else had went in and taken their assigned seat and was preparing for this intervention. And so me and the guy that called me and her, we go into the house, and I had her two best friends there because I always like to have your ace deuce, your number two people, one and two people in your life on each side of you that you trust, that you would go to the wall with. That's the people I want sitting next to your loved one. So she sits down, and and all of a sudden, then it was, well, we really are here tonight for you. Oh boy, we've all had concerns about your drinking. We've brought Lance in to facilitate that with us. We love you. We want you to just hear us out before you make a decision and really be thoughtful of what we're going to share with you because we care and we love you. And here we went. And everyone in the room, not a rehearsed script, not an attack script, not lights and cameras like some other people do. No judgment, that's their way of doing things. But so we're going around the circle, and it gets to her, and she's somewhat in the middle of ambivalence about, she doesn't want to, she's got to work, she's got this, all the excuses we would come up with in the world that may or may not be legitimate, by the way. And her husband spoke up and says, I don't know if you know this or not, but I found some alcohol in our daughter's room, some of your alcohol. I wonder where she learned that from. And if you don't go do this, myself, my daughters, and mom are going to leave until you do something about it. Because I can't have our children being influenced by your drinking and going down that same path. She gave him the death look, but she knew he was being honest, and she didn't like that feeling because it was real, it was true. And so she asked if she could talk to him outside alone to kind of sway him. And I said, no. If you're going to go out with him, you take your two best friends with you. So they would intervene. We already knew she'd probably try to do this. They came back in, and she said, yes, I'll go. And everybody gave her hugs, kisses. They had a bag of clothes for her already packed up with some cosmetic stuff. And I let her two friends drive her to the facility. I met them there. We walked her in. She went in. She made a successful treatment through that month. She's home now, living with her family, successful. That's what it's about. It's not just being attacked or it's a coordinated effort. What you're saying is on the front end of talking to them, and I'm way back here talking with you about how do we set this up? How do we plan this? What's the insurance look like? What the finances look like? What kind of treatment can we get her or him? Those are the things that we do in the pre-intervention or that family intervention. Those are all the details we work out back there before we even get to the individual or the set or setting. Does that answer your question, AJ? I hope it does. That's how I do things. I mean, it's pretty methodical. I want to keep it as simple as possible. Excellent. I'm glad. Um, because that's what I do. And as a recovering addict with an amazing life, nothing's perfect, but with a pretty amazing life today, I know what's possible for your loved ones and also what's possible for your families when your loved ones heal. I'm living proof that change is possible. You see the photo and the tag on my videos and on my live streams. That's me at 19, the criminal, the thug, the drug addict, the broken one. This is me today. This is the path of change and what it gives us. And now, from that person that in that early photo that nobody wanted to talk to, nobody wanted to be around, I'm the patriarch in my family. I care about my family. They care about me. We communicate. I'm there for them. That's a gift beyond measure. That's the path of recovery for not just the individual like myself or your loved one or friend, but also for the family. So today, if that makes any sense to you and you have anybody out there that needs help, you can DM me, here, send me a message. You can email me at info@lifeoveraddiction.com. I will respond. We will meet up. I mean, after the initial like free consultation and we talk about costs and what that looks like, because it is my time and I have to do these things. It's what I do for a living. It's my business. But you have to understand that this is somebody here that does it from a place of heart. And I will work with people because I know not everybody can afford what some people can. So there's a sliding scale to a degree. But more importantly, there's help available and we could start today. Why wait for tomorrow? There may not be a tomorrow with so many people overdosing and dying from fentanyl and fentanyl related opiate related drugs and everything, or crime, violence, sickness. Don't wait a day. That's my suggestion. I've lost a lot of friends because people waited. Um, and this is like really to the families. Loving your friend or your loved one that's struggling with a problem is your responsibility today if you really care. I know I'm putting you in a spot, but man, flip the roles. If you were the son or daughter struggling with an addiction in your head with whatever you're using to cope with a sense of self you can't deal with, wouldn't you want somebody coming there for you with love and compassion to change the direction of your lives? Not with condemnation or judgment or wrath. That start today, because there may not be tomorrow. If you guys are watching and chimed in, I see 3 right now. I would appreciate your subscription to this channel. It goes a long way to help me expand and carry a bigger message. You are the reason I'm here. Families are the reason I'm here. Addicts and alcoholics are the reason I'm here. People that struggle with emotional or trauma-based stuff in their thinking, and I'm not a therapist, but I know how this works. From a young age, we develop things in our psyche, in our neural pathways, our beliefs, our perceptions. And those beliefs and perceptions and reactions to things create who we are today. And a lot of those things in an alcoholic or an addict or other problematic behaviors or situations come from somewhere. They just don't come out of thin air. They're created. And when we can identify those things, we can begin to change them. Change is possible, but it has to start today. Whew. Well, with that, I just wanted to come in and talk about the family interventions and what that looks like as part of the process. I'm going to be talking about each one of those areas. I'm going to be breaking it down even more and doing individualistic videos that will be posted on my YouTube station at Lance Wright Recovery for you to watch or to share or to do with as you need to help a loved one, a family, or a friend find help. With that, I appreciate you. I thank you. And I wish you a blessed day. Thank you for tuning in.